In a world where love can seem complicated and elusive, Jay Shetty's book, 8 Rules of Love, provides a strong guide to developing deeper, more lasting relationships. Drawing on his monastic experiences, as well as his insight on human relationships, Shetty shares 8 important concepts that can change the way we view love. The book 8 Rules of Love is all about nurturing love in a conscious, respectful, and sincere way, rather than merely seeking it. Introduction. We are so drawn to beauty that we want it for ourselves, but the appeal fades over time. When attraction turns into love, it requires our care and attention. True beauty occurs when we care for someone for an extended period of time. Love is tricky. This book focuses on creating love actively, rather than waiting for it to happen. The Vedas, or ancient Hindu scriptures, serve as the foundation for this book. The Vedas identify 4 periods of life during which we might learn the rules of love: preparing for love, practicing love, protecting love, and perfecting love. Preparing for love. First, we must love ourselves. Rule 1 is about learning a variety of skills, including compassion, empathy, and patience. Rule 2 entails reviewing previous relationships to prevent repeating the same mistakes. Practicing love entails loving both oneself and others. Rule 3 helps us determine whether or not we are in love. Rule 4 is about learning and growing alongside your partner. Rule 5 focuses on setting priorities and controlling your time and space in the relationship. Protecting love. This is where we seek comfort after a breakup, loss, or when our family requires less of our attention. Rule 6 helps us resolve problems. Rule 7 advises us when to split up and how to live with it afterwards. Perfecting love involves loving everyone in our lives. Rule 8 focuses on loving everyone. Part 1. Solitude. Learning to love yourself. Rule 1. Let yourself be alone. Nobody wants to be lonely. We are apprehensive, fearful, and anxious about being alone, and these sentiments impede our ability to find love. The solution for this condition appears to be a relationship, but not all relationships are equal. Being alone allows us to better grasp our pleasures and values. Once we have developed compassion, empathy, and patience, we can utilize these to love others. We learn from a young age that being alone is bad. Loneliness means pain, whereas isolation indicates splendor. To get from loneliness to solitude, we must go through 3 stages: presence, discomfort, and confidence. Presence means being present, noticing our emotions, decisions, priorities, strengths, and shortcomings. Your values are also crucial, since when you're with someone, both of your values must match. Discomfort refers to a sense of inadequacy experienced when adjusting to being alone. Confidence is a sense of self-assurance that comes from appreciating one's own strengths and traits. Solitude helps you see yourself. There is a you prior to, during, and after a relationship. When you're alone, you learn about control and patience. Self-control is the difference between your attraction to something and your reaction to it. When seeking for a spouse, they advise us to look for our other half. That makes us dependent and unfulfilled, and it puts a lot of pressure on others because we expect them to provide us with immediate relief. Some problems must be solved on your own, and you cannot expect others to do so. Rule 2. Do not ignore your karma. The decisions you make now will influence your future. This is known as karma. While most people think of karma as something negative that will happen to them, it actually refers to the rule of cause and effect. Karma is not about being punished or rewarded, but about learning something. When we are born, we absorb impressions from the world around us. All of these experiences shape how we behave and react. We frequently have the opportunity to either confirm or revise our impressions. All of your choices set off a chain reaction known as the karma cycle. Our early impressions shape our understanding of love. Unless we are consciously aware of these perceptions, we will continue to experience the same karma. We may use this awareness to break the pattern. Learning from the past heals us and keeps us from repeating mistakes. Love is something you learn from your parents, the media, and previous relationships. Yet all of these experiences influence our decisions because we place too much value on them. Our parents are responsible for our first experiences with love. Ideally, parents should educate their children that love entails protection, loyalty, and sacrifice. However, many people grew up with emotionally dysfunctional parents, thus they formed their own opinions. Regardless matter how you were raised, you will confront obstacles. Parents give us both gifts and gaps, and we see companions based on that. However, we may use our upbringing to learn and use karma to guide us to the connection we require. Media has a significant impact on how we approach love. Its major promise is that the appropriate person will emerge out of nowhere, and we'll identify them straight away. The issue is that first impressions are not reliable. Also, the situation in which you meet someone has a significant impact on your view of that individual. Our early impressions also influence our thoughts about love. Part of this is due to the fact that our prefrontal brain does not fully develop until we reach adulthood. People recall their first love as being more passionate than everything else, even if it was unhealthy. Shetty describes 5 categories of people we date. The rebel is someone who challenges the status quo. The chase, someone who is emotionally or physically unavailable. The project, someone has to be saved or cared for. The F-boy or F-girl, someone who sleeps around and doesn't want to commit. The opulent one, someone who is knowledgeable, famous, wealthy, gorgeous, or powerful. When starting a new connection, we should bring gifts rather than gaps. We should fill our own holes rather than expecting others to do so. When we look for a companion to fill an emotional void, we expect them to take care of our happiness. Instead than blaming someone else for your emotional problems, address them yourself. Part 2. Compatibility. How to love others. Rule 3. Define love before you think, feel, or say it. There isn't one universal definition of love. For some, it means sex, while for others, it means sharing their lives together. We say, I love you in various situations and to different individuals, but there are no commitments or guarantees when words are spoken. Love takes a long time, although we frequently hurry to say, I love you. Some people renew their vows, some have long-distance relationships, and some divorce despite their love for each other. How would you define love? What is love meant to feel like? How do we know when someone loves us? Answering these questions requires more than 3 words. Phase 1. Attraction. This is the urge to connect with someone. As you get to know the other person, you begin to uncover their vulnerabilities. The author suggests using the 3-date rule to assess compatibility with a potential partner. Every date focuses on a different aspect of personality, values, and aspirations. Phase 2. Dreams. This stage is about creating, establishing, and fostering a strong relationship. False expectations refer to preconceived notions about our partner's characteristics. Technology has exacerbated this by giving us the impression that there are an infinite number of potential partners to choose from, leading us to treat relationships like commodities in an online store. Anyone we meet will have a unique set of issues, just like you. You're likely to desire to share the same aims and values as the other person, but that doesn't mean the relationship needs to end. The partnership can work as long as you collaborate on projects. It is more vital to deal with relationship challenges than to find common ground. This is also the time where you learn rhythms and routines. While it is natural to fantasize about the future, what you do on a daily basis is far more significant because it is how you develop a healthy relationship. Phase 3. Struggles and growth. Every relationship is imperfect, and there will be issues at some point. Some of these difficulties are manageable, but we must learn to coexist with others. Love is about facing hardships. Love rarely flows freely, so you must work on your problems. There are 2 types of problems, minor and large. For the latter, you have 3 options: leave, commit to working on them, or stay and make no changes. During this stage, you may encounter issues that are deal breakers. Phase 4. Trust. Overcoming obstacles alongside someone else allows you both to improve. This progress leads to trust. Yet contrary to popular belief, trust is not binary. Trust is something that develops over time as a person does specific behaviors or says various things. To earn the trust of others, we must first demonstrate our own reliability. There are 3 types of trust. Physical trust occurs when someone makes us feel safe around them. Mental trust involves trusting someone's thoughts and decision-making. Emotional trust is trusting someone's ideals. While you may not receive all 3 from your spouse, and they will make mistakes from time to time, It is critical to explain the type of trust you value most. Trust takes time to develop and must be nurtured on a regular basis. Rule number 4. Your partner is your guru. Gurus are spiritual teachers that you can learn from. Gurus teach by demonstrating compassion, empathy, and humility. In a love relationship, you both teach and learn from each other. Gurus provide counsel, knowledge, and love without judging or expecting anything in return. The purpose of being in a relationship is to evolve. According to the self-expansion idea, having a partner can help us extend our sense of self and enrich our lives. This could be a collection of skills, personality traits, or opinions. Control is not what you should search for in a relationship. Progress is. Gurus are not meant to have power over their disciples. They simply aid them in every manner they can and set a good example. Also, gurus encourage each other's aims rather than their own. To learn the most, we must be humble. The inverse would be to take an egotistical posture. This is the mistaken assumption that we are superior to everyone else. The ego prevents learning and growth. Regardless of who your mentor is, you should never lose sight of your own personality, principles, or aspirations. Rule 5. Purpose comes first. To be the best version of ourselves, we must have a purpose in life. In Hinduism, it is referred to as dharma. Your life and relationships revolve around your dharma. All other activities become clearer once you understand your dharma. To develop positive energy in your relationship, you must first fulfill your calling, and your partner must fulfill theirs. To prioritize your dharma, use the pyramid of purpose. Explore your hobbies and skills to discover your purpose. Shetty describes purpose as the intersection of your passions and skills. Once you've identified your purpose, you'll need more time to carry it out. If necessary, eliminate distractions and assess whether your time management practices are consistent with your values. Experiment. Experimenting is putting certain things to the test to see what you like and dislike. Thrive. Once you've reached a level of experience where you know what you like and dislike, you'll be able to fulfill your purpose. At this point, you decide how your routine will appear and set goals. Struggle. Some challenges are bound to arise. It is critical that you talk with your partner when this occurs. Winning is rare, and you'll spend the majority of your time going through the procedure. To put this into perspective, winning represents the 1%, while the process represents the 99%. For everything to be worthwhile, you must appreciate the journey rather than the end. Be supportive when your partner is looking for their calling. When you have children and have different goals, you can pursue both after hours, prioritize one over the other, take turns with each other's goals, or opt to pursue both at the same time. Part 3. Healing. Learning to love during struggle. Rule 6. Win or lose together. Conflict is unavoidable in any relationship, no matter how compatible they are. There will be no disagreements at the start of the relationship, but they will arise later. This is normal and expected in a healthy partnership. The most common points of dispute are sex, money, and raising children. To prevent harming the other person or yourself, you must learn to fight. However, never confuse conflict with abuse. Abuse produces no good outcomes and is therefore unacceptable. There are 3 categories of arguments. Pointless arguments. You don't understand the point and don't want to solve the situation. The greatest thing you can do is decide how minor some issues are and let them go before they evolve into something more serious. Power arguments. Here, you want to win simply for the sake of it. Productive arguments. You want to conquer the conflict in order to truly progress. When problems arise, attempt to get to the root of them. Social disputes stem from external reasons. Interpersonal conflicts occur when you have a complaint with another person. Inner conflicts stem from insecurity, unrealistic expectations, or disappointment. There are 3 fighting styles. Venting. You express your anger until you find a solution. Hiding. This is when you need space following an argument. Exploding is when you can't control your emotions. When disagreement happens, the best outcome is to win together. You accomplish this by seeking tranquility, place and time, determine when and where you will resolve the disagreement. Scheduling a conflict lets you establish distance between your emotions and the conversions when you'll try to address it. Expression. These are the words you use to express yourself, so choose them wisely. Avoid using excessive, threatening, or offensive remarks. Be clear, Don't insult, don't be defensive, and show respect. Anger management. Explain your intentions to your partners and try to address the problem together. Commitment. The goal is to establish an agreement and commit to some type of change. Evolution. Once we're able to take responsibility for our difficulties and repent for our mistakes, we achieve closure. There are 3 steps to apologizing: acceptance, articulation, and action. Some arguments appear irreconcilable. In such instances, discuss solutions that are favorable to both of you. You must reach an agreement on some delicate topics. If you can't, you'll have to decide whether to stay together or break up. Rule 7. You do not break in a breakup. If you let it, love will erode over time. If little concerns are not addressed, they might snowball into major problems. Abuse, infidelity, lethargy, and apathy are all serious issues that cannot be ignored. You should never tolerate abuse. There are 6 types of abuse: physical, emotional, sexual, financial, digital, and stalking. Infidelity is one of the most difficult problems to recover from, since restoring someone's trust once it has been lost requires effort and commitment. When this occurs, rebound relationships appear to be the solution, but attempting to replace the whole of your prior relationship with someone new will not solve the problem you bring with you. Loss of interest is frequently caused by a lack of communication. Do not avoid the other person. If you do, consider why. Feeling fatigued when you're with them, refusing to share private information with them, and failing to make an attempt are all indicators of disinterest. You may be disconnected from the other individual. To ensure that our relationship thrives, we must nurture it on a regular basis. Depending on what we are discussing, we produce various types of vibrations. When you bond over something bad, such as criticizing others or gossiping, you generate low vibrations. When you bond over meaningful things, such as a to-do list, you generate medium vibrations. When you bond over meaningful issues, such as learning something you both have in common, you generate strong vibrations. The higher the vibrations, the more intimacy you achieve. If you're completely present, you can use entertainment, activities, or information to foster intimacy. After fostering intimacy, you have the option to elevate, separate, or stagnate. The author describes a path to elevation, a journey from intolerance to acceptance, which looks like this. While time-consuming and demanding, this practice is about shifting your perspective. Many people stay in partnerships because they do not want to be alone. It's worth noting that even if the relationship is ending, you are not. There is a you before the relationship, and you will still exist once it ends. The issue isn't loneliness. We want to be wanted because it makes us feel valued. We have value whether we are with others or on our own. Wait till you've broken up with someone before dating anyone else. Being on your own for a period boosts your confidence and allows you to attract the people you want in your life. Also, now is a great moment to invest in yourself. Part 4. Connection. Learn to love everyone. Rule 8. Love again and again. To summarize the 8 rules of love, the more love you can show others, the better. Romantic love isn't the only kind of love you'll encounter. You should endeavor to develop loving ties with everyone you meet. By expressing love, you'll also get love. First, we can express affection to those who are closest to us. There are 4 characteristics to consider: understanding, belief, acceptance, appreciation,